Here we have video 5 of section 5.1, and like I mentioned before, there's a very good chance we will have to deal with video 6, but video 6 should be really short, but here we go, we'll see. Okay, 19 is almost identical to number 18. We have all 8 parts to do. And so we get f of x equals x cubed minus 0.4x squared minus 2.5861x plus 3.0912. And since there's so many nasty decimals here, a lot of my stuff is going to come from the graphing calculator. We're going to calculate the zeros by way of doing that and stuff like that. So this might actually go a little bit quicker. But the first thing we want to do, part A, determine the end behavior. Well, I look. There's nothing to multiply, so I look. It's going to look a lot like an x cubed, a positive x cubed. So that's the end behavior it's going to look like. So I know it should look something like that. That's what it should look like, more or less. Okay? Now B does ask us to put this into a graphing utility, so that's what we're ready to do. And realize I've got this stuff from number 18 still in there, so I need to go back and change the window back. A negative 10, 10, 1, and negative 10, 10, and 1. And let's go to y equals and clear out anything that we had there, and that will become x cubed minus 0.4x squared minus 2.5861x plus 3.0912. And then let's graph it, and hopefully we'll get everything that I want it to look like. Okay, well, this is more or less the shape. You know, it's a sort of an S. It's going negative infinity here and positive infinity there. So I'm going to just draw a rough sketch of this for right now, so that we have an idea of what we're looking at. I think it looks something like that, very similar to that. Now all I have to do is fill in all the important information, and then this is going to become my graph. So I'm going to do that as we go along. Okay, part C asks us find the x and the y intercepts. Well, guess what? The f of 0 isn't too difficult. That I can do. F of 0 is 0 cubed minus this, which is 0, minus this, which is 0, or 3.0912. So I can get that. That's easy enough. 3.0912. So this point right here is 3.0912. Okay, now the only other intercept I have is right there. But I'm certainly not going to try and calculate that by factoring this mess and stuff like that. Instead, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the graphing calculator and actually find that 0. I'm going to do the second calculate, and then I'm going to take option number 2, which is the 0. And once again, we have to go to the left of it. So I am to the left of it. Then I need to go to the right of that 0. And then I need to put a guess, and I'll just guess right where I'm at. And it looks like negative 1.87. We're told to round to 2 decimal places if necessary. Negative 1.870. Negative 1.870. So this point right here would be negative 1.870. See, I'm just filling in my graph as I'm going along. It doesn't have to be to scale, but what is important is I put the important information on there. Okay, D, determine whether the graph crosses or touches. Well, I can tell simply by looking that it crosses. I mean, there's no big deal there. Besides, we haven't determined the multiplicity anyway, so it really doesn't matter. E, use the graph to determine local maximum and local minimum if they occur. Well, I see a maximum here and a minimum here, so I'm going to have to find two different values. So I'm going to go back to the graphing calculator and get those particular values. I'm going to go ahead and do both of these both at the same times. Well, not at the same time, but I want to calculate, let's calculate the maximum. So calculate the maximum, and I need to be to the left of it, so there I am. And then I need to be to the right of it, so there I am. And then I'll just guess right where I'm at. And I see that that is negative 0.80, 4.39. Negative 0.80 and 4.39. So that's the maximum that I will put here eventually. But now let's find the minimum by using the same method. Second, calculate, and then the minimum is number 3. I need to be to the left of it, so let's just get a little bit closer. Not that it has to be closer, but there, I've got the minimum. And then it asks for a right bound, so I need to get to the right of it, hit enter, and then I need to give a guess. This time I'm going to actually try and guess it. Not that it matters, but, and I ended up with 1.07, 1.09, and so that will become my minimum. And so now I think I'm ready to go to my graph and actually put that information on here. The maximum is negative 0.80, 4.39. And the minimum here appears to be, let's see, 1.07, 1.09. Okay, F asks to draw the complete graph by hand. Well, there, I've done it. I started out with the rough stuff, but then I filled in all the important information. And that's what I'm looking for in these graphs. You can start out rough, but you need to put in all the vital information. You know, what are the intercepts? What's the maximum? What's the minimum? You know, make sure that it only touches if it touches, or does it cross? You know, stuff like that. Okay, the domain, well, any x value out here will work, any of these all the way over here. So the domain, this is part G, the domain would be all real numbers. Now look for the range. Well, I'm going along, I know it's way down here at negative infinity, and then it'd be, oh, maybe I've hit my maximum here at 4.39. So I go down a little bit further, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, I'm going up forever and ever and ever. So the range is also from negative infinity to infinity. There's not a value that this will never achieve. And then finally, H. H asks for, where is it increasing, where is it decreasing? So here we need to get into the frame of mind. We're talking x values, and so it's going to be increasing. It increases, well, from negative infinity up until negative 0.80. And then it goes down for just a little while, but then it starts going back up when x hits 1.07. And then it goes on forever. So that's when it's increasing. Decreases only for a short little while. It's going to decrease between negative 0.80 until it hits 1.07. And then it's pretty well done. And we will have just one more very short video. I'm just afraid I can't make it short enough. So I will see you in the next video.